Good morning, people. Now, I'm never really comfortable doing these monologues, but today I'm speaking from my sauna with Tarvi. He's my sauna tontu, gifted from a friend in Finland, and he is an elf who guards this sacred place. No politics today, because the world is full of them, and I'm fed up with them for a day. This is just about music and a beautifully choreographed video. I just hope you can see it, because the last time I tried to present it, it was taken out because of copyright. But I'll leave a link, so maybe that will work. Let me just say that sauna is the way it is. It's a word that was loaned by Finland to the world, and everybody gets it wrong. Sauna, not sauna. And sauna in Finland is almost a religion, and there are millions of them. There is even one at Burger King in Helsinki. And of course, you are completely naked, because that way everyone is equal. There is no hierarchy in a sauna, only the benches. I've got 3 here, and the top one is for the hardy, let me say that, because it's very, very hot. And the heat, of course, goes to the ceiling, and then it slowly descends, getting cooler as it comes down. And all the materials for this sauna I actually ordered from Estonia, because the tax there is much less. Sorry, Finland, but I'm just housekeeping here, okay? Now, I just refound this video, and it brought back some very, very pleasant memories and a total culture shock. And it's a wonderful country, and I'm trying to relate some of my experiences there. Now, I discovered this composer when I was a boy in a local choir, and it's Sibelius. And of course, I never knew who he was or his nationality, but I do now. And this video shows Finland as it is. It's absolutely beautiful. And this video does it credit, trust me. Like the little eider ducks, chicks making a leap of faith from their nest and landing on the soft greening of a lingonberry plant. It's just wonderful. And the hundreds of thousands of lakes created by the receding ice, and the billions of birch trees that thrive between the rocks left by ancient glaciers, and there are billions of them. Bear cubs innocently playing in the forest. And to breathe the air in Finland's forest is enough to know it's extremely efficacious to man and beast alike. Now, I'm not a city person, and I loved the rural communities, and I'm very grateful for that. And I actually met a few people that had never seen an Englishman. And after being there for a little while, I understood why. Finns are very shy and keep themselves to themselves until they've had a drink. And many Finns are legendary drinkers. Trust me. I met a few in the pubs that I went into. But having said that, to be fair, not everyone drinks, or at least only in moderation. And wolves roam quite freely, but are very, very solitary. And they will smell you a long, long time before you even get near them. And they avoid humans like the plague. And on a winter walk, I found what I thought was a large dog footprint. And I took a picture of it. And later someone told me it was definitely a wolf print. And that for me was a wow moment. And I carry that excitement still today. an experience that won't happen in very many places in Europe. And foraging one day in the summer with some friends. There's about 4 or 5 of us, and we were all spread out over 100 metres when I stumbled into a pile of fresh bear droppings. But I'd already been told what to do. No, not run. Just make a loud noise and now run off. Bears, like Finns, are also very shy and not that keen on company. And Finland, by the way, is growing. The country is getting bigger every year, ever since the last ice age when it was covered with a mile thick of ice. And it's gaining land at a rate of around 10 millimetres per year to something called post-glacial rebound, which has been ongoing since then. And the result in the emergence of a new land, roughly equivalent to about 200 football fields every year. And I was fortunate enough to take a month's trip, a sailing trip, around the Baltic Sea, right up to the borders with Russia. And the boat was a 3-ton wooden sailing vessel built mainly many years ago. And although it had an inboard diesel engine, it sailed beautifully without it. And we flew the Finnish flag and the English flag, which is customary when you have a foreign guest on board. And we docked into many places on the way and used the communal saunas. And they are very crowded, I can assure you, and certainly not for the faint of heart. And nakedness is natural in Finland. Fat, thin, old, young, black, white, it doesn't matter. No one gives a damn. And sailing is a major pastime here. There. Thought I was there for a minute. And some larger boats have their own sauna built into the boat itself. And on this circuit, you bump into the same people in the communal sauna. Germans, Italians, Americans, and even a Russian. But I never met another Brit. And I was grateful for that. And the Russian, by the way, was perfectly polite. And one particular day, we berthed and paid our berthing fees and went to the sauna. And I heard this great big loud voice say, "Hey, English, over here!" And it made me smile. It was a Russian, boisterous, but very friendly. Now, many people say that Russians are loud and brash, but in my experience, there is none so loud and brash as the English abroad, and we have a very bad reputation for it, globally. And I can only apologise for that, being a Brit. And my attitude is, in any foreign country, do as the Romans do and respect the natives of that country. It's only polite and it helps you to get along. And never ever listen to rumours about how bad a person is. It's generally just an opinion. We are all human beings and share the same planet. Geographically, we are the same. We are only divided by politics and ideals. I digress. One particular day, I went to the bar for my usual lager, which I'm not really that keen on. And I saw someone drinking what looked like beer. So I said, "What is this?" And he said, "IPA." And I looked puzzled, and he pointed to the pump. And I said, "Oh yeah, IPA." It's a pronunciation. Their alphabet is different, totally different than ours, which I learned off by heart eventually. So IPA it was, and I had quite a few of them, and they went down very well. And I got into the habit of taking a sauna regularly, and the best in my experience was a wood-burning sauna, which is what this is. And I forgot to mention, did I mention that Tavi is here, given to by a friend? Yeah. And I'm told that the best sauna is a smoke sauna, which is completely black with the smoke and extremely sterile. I wasn't fortunate enough to take one of those, but I did see one at the house or museum of Elias Lönnrot, who wrote the epic poem Kalevala, the most famous book in Finland. And the characters are legendary there. Just look up the Sampo, Sampo. It's very interesting. By the way, many elderly Finns were born in a sauna because it's totally sterile, and many are laid to rest there until the funeral is arranged. So the sauna is a pretty damn sacred place. And a wood sauna, a wood sauna in the forest is a pretty good. It's pretty good, especially when you take the sauna and you have to bathe in the lake just opposite. And I even saw a sauna in a tent, and that's how seriously the Finns think about the sauna. It's an essential ritual no matter where you are. And when I was in Espoo, I did roll in the ice when it was minus 24 after a sauna, and that was truly exhilarating. I couldn't even explain it. And I also fished under a foot of ice with a net, something I will never ever forget. And I attended a birthday party of a man I met in the communal gym, and that was quite an experience. We gathered as a group outside his door, knocked on the door. This is a ritual, and when he answered the door, we sang "Happy Birthday." Same tune as here, but different words, which are actually easy to learn. And we entered, and the general mood was quite subdued, but the food and the booze was amazing, and some things very strange to me, like a savoury cake made from bread, meat and fish called oile pakaku. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I think I am. And another cake more familiar with strawberries and blueberries. All of it delicious, I can assure you. And by the way, all the booze came from Estonia because of the tax differences. A bit like our booze cruise to France. And once everyone had been introduced, the alcohol began to flow, and the mood changed completely into a party mood. And I loved it so much I stayed even after my English-speaking friends left. And I spent a very amusing few hours with Finns with no English, and me with yes, no, thank you, cheers, and the birthday lyrics still in my head. Now we managed, and I learned a few more Finn words, some of them quite rude. And unfortunately, I never got to grips with Finnish grammar, which is notoriously complicated. But I did survive the biggest culture shock of my life. So, thank you, Finland, for my stay there. You know who you are, and one day I will return. Bye-bye.